Marcus Freeman isn't DEI. He's qualified. He presents himself in a professional way. He presents himself in a respectful way. He's grounded in his faith in a real way. Doesn't just pay lip service and, praise Jesus while bringing in rappers, demonic rappers into his locker room. Doesn't promote radical materialism by putting on big gold chains and the whole team wearing big gold chains. Doesn't call himself as a grown man some ridiculous, childlike nickname. Marcus Freeman presents himself like a grown, mature, God-fearing man. And he works for a Catholic university. And so if Marcus Freeman dressed himself up like a clown, let's say Marcus Freeman is probably 40 years old, 42. Let's say he were 58 years old and called himself Coach Prime and put a big gold chain on and put sunglasses on, put a hoodie over his head, and invited every demonic rapper he could think of into his locker room while calling himself some sort of Christian. If Marcus Freeman did that, if he played the clown, do you think Notre Dame would be in the playoffs? Think it through. This is not easy for some of you to decipher because I started making this argument over social media this weekend and it just flew over some people's heads. They didn't get it. But if Marcus Freeman played the clown, if he called himself Coach Cornroll and put cornrows in his head and put on a gold chain and put a gold tooth in, then the mainstream media, the racial idolaters would be like, whoa, Marcus Freeman, he's authentically black. And it's racist for Marcus Freeman on a 10-game winning streak to get left out of the college football playoffs. If Marcus Freeman put on one of those big Colin Kaepernick afros and acted like he had a problem with the national anthem, what would ESPN and the Bob Iger soldiers, what would they be arguing? What would Marcus Freeman represent then if he played the clown and the buffoon? If he went full-blown Louis Farrakhan, threw his fist in the air and pretended like he was some sort of social justice warrior? Notre Dame might be a 3 seed if he played the clown. And this is what truly infuriates me. Because for me, and other men like me, and I could sit here and call their names. Some of them don't even realize the game that's being played on them. And they're so caught up in the race that they're blinded and can't see, like, have they really carved out a lane where as a black man, you have to play the clown in order to win their full support, in order to be celebrated, in order to be protected? You got to play the clown. Your son has to play the clown if he wants to be respected and supported in the workplace. He needs to make sure he's got cornrows or dreadlocks or smells like weed or comes in knowing the lyrics to every demonic rap song ever written. He's got to pull a hoodie over his head, and not just as a young person, but at 58 years old, Deion Sanders is playing the clown and we're celebrating. He's on every college football commercial next to Nick Saban. Like he's the gold standard in black coaching. Like he's a gold standard in coaching. Take color off of it. The man went 4-8, 9-4, and 3-9. And he's running around with Nick Saban, the whole college football industry and television, all supporting Deion Sanders, 4-8, 9-4, 3-9. And Marcus Freeman, did they not play in the national championship game a year ago? And then he comes back with a 10-2 season, and he's on a 10-game winning streak? And have we heard one of these stereotypical race idolaters? Have we heard any of them? Like, hey, man, what's going on here? Y'all just got it against the man? The black man can't make the playoffs? I don't hear any of that. And not that I want to hear any of that. But the message is crystal clear. As a black man in America, whether it's sports world or corporate world, and this is what's driving me crazy, I'm just going to let you know my biases out the gate. When you hear me complain about Stephen A. Smith, who plays the clown on ESPN, knows virtually nothing about sports, but is run out here as the gold standard because he will yell and scream and play the buffoon. And many of you, it disappoints me, but you don't have the balls. So, hey, what are we doing here? Because you're so filled with idolatry. And you want to make sure that you get invited to the cookout. And you want to make sure that if you run into one of these celebrities that they have identified, that they all like and love you, and you want to make sure no one hops in your Twitter mentions or DMs and calls you a buffoon or a coon or a sellout. You would rather support a culture and a world that will point your son, your grandson, your nephew, your cousin, play the buffoon, never grow up. Never have your spiritual journey mature. Because if it does mature, if you take off the clown suit, if you're like, hey man, my mama named me Jamal, and so I don't want you calling me some stupid Seabiscuit, Little Dookie, Big Pookie, Stanky Booty. I just stole that from Brandon Tatum. It was brilliant when he did it. But just because you'd rather be called Little Stanky than what your mama named you. At 58. You don't want to grow up. You have arrested development. And many of you, not Deion, but many of you would rather run around with big fake gold chains on than take that phony-ass gold chain off and carry yourself like a man who is not defined by some bogus jewelry that he got ripped off of by Jacob the jeweler.